The man hit the poor girl with all his anger. He couldn't understand how she could do something like that. He didn't expect such a trick from her, and it made him very angry. After all, she had ruined all his plans. The man furiously asked the girl how she could smile after that. He thought she was really crazy, because in his opinion, only a crazy person could do that and then smile like that. The girl with a smirk on her face and all the disdain smiled and thanked him for such a compliment. Her behavior angered him even more. He gritted his teeth and said that she was arrogant. He was furious. The man screamed furiously at the poor girl, because he wanted to know whose blood was flowing in her. He did not understand how she could question their family and get pregnant with an unknown child. The man thought that the young lady had gone crazy. The girl was only egged on by the man's behavior. She asked if he really wanted to hear who the father of the child was. The man was taken aback. The girl said that she had met the young man in a shabby tavern. He was drunk but truly beautiful. His muscles and hoarse voice attracted her attention. He was truly an inveterate night reveler. The man was shocked by her words. He became even more furious. He did not want to listen to her and covered her mouth. The man said that from today on, she would be under house arrest, and she would not be able to leave the room. He shouted for the servants to lock her in the basement. The girl was a little surprised, as it was not difficult for her to get him mad. She said that because of her, he had lost a good opportunity to sell his own daughter and get drunk on her grief. He was angry and shouted at the servants to take her away quickly. The girl shouted in rage that no one should touch her with a finger, because she could not allow them to harm her and her child. She stood up proudly and walked herself to the place of her long imprisonment. To her great regret, she had no choice but to obey her father. The girl walked slowly into the room. It was hard for her, but she couldn't do anything. She had no choice. She knew that one day her father would pay for such treatment. The girl knew that she had to take revenge on him herself. She lay down on the bed and slowly fell asleep. She knew that she had no right to give up, because she was carrying a child inside her. She knew what she had to do to ensure that they lived well and for a long time. 6 months ago, the girl decided to run away from home and make her dream come true. She simply had no other choice. The maids ran and looked for her in fear. They knew that if their master discovered that their daughter was missing, they would not be able to say hello. The girl fled because her father had recently informed her that Count Bupo had requested her as his concubine. He already had 3 concubines, and everyone knew that they had decided to simply sell the girl to the harem. She was shocked by her father's words. He wanted to sell her as an unnecessary thing, but the girl knew that she could not allow this. She vehemently did not want to marry such a pathetic man. So she came up with a plan and intended to implement it. She didn't know where to go, but she knew what she had to do. She couldn't let her father decide for her and sell her off as an unwanted item. The girl approached the house and saw men who were chatting incessantly. She wanted to approach them to solve all her problems and get it over with as soon as possible. When suddenly she heard a strange noise, she turned around and saw a man. He looked good. She decided to help him and later ask him for a favor. She approached him and asked if he needed help. He looked at her with bewilderment and asked who she was and what she wanted from him. The girl was a little taken aback. She sincerely wanted to help him. She asked him if he needed help. He was angry and said he didn't need help. He looked at her and told the girl to go away quickly. The young lady looked and said she needed help. She said she could help him and in return, he would help her. A favor for a favor, so to speak. The man did not understand what she needed. The man found the girl's behavior very suspicious and incomprehensible. It was very strange that such a person was walking alone in such a place, but unfortunately, he had no choice and he needed help. The man said that he needed a place to spend the night. The girl found a room where he could spend the night, and she also said that she had put all his things on the table. He thanked her for her help. The girl knew that she could not miss such a chance. She was determined to carry out her evil plan. She looked at him and said that since she was helping him, it was his turn. The young lady said that she needed him to spend the night with her. The man was dumbfounded. He did not understand her. He looked at her and asked her with a puzzled expression why she needed such a favor. The girl said that she wanted to take revenge on someone. He looked at her and thought that maybe a political conflict was brewing, and he was not a fan of such situations. The man said that there were other much better ways to take revenge. The girl assured him that she had no time for another plan and all the stories. He was puzzled by her persistence and desperation. She knew that she had to find a man and get pregnant by him, otherwise she would fail and be sold. She did not want such a fate for herself because it promised only troubles and misfortunes. Even the thought of it scared her. The man realized that the girl was desperate and had no other choice. He knew that he had to help her because he had no choice. He calmly approached her and said that in that case, he would help her, referring to the fact that he would rather spend the night with him than with another man. He assured her that a random passerby could be a dangerous companion for her for one night and he would not harm her. The girl knew that nothing mattered. After all, it was only one night after which everything should change. He kissed her tenderly. They moved to the bed. The girl enjoyed his company. She had been used to strong male hands, only causing her harm since her early years. But now she had a completely different experience. She felt good with him and she enjoyed the warmth of his body. The young lady did not understand how a man could be so gentle and affectionate. She was amazed and felt bliss with him. It was truly unforgettable feelings and a wonderful night. She wanted to know his name. She did not want to run away from him, but she had no choice. The man slept peacefully after a stormy night. A servant entered the room and apologized to the master for losing sight of him. He was upset and assured the master that this would never happen again. The man sincerely regretted that this had happened and wanted to make things right. The young man was surprised that his night stranger simply left and did not even say her name. He understood that he had simply fulfilled his duty but was shocked by her departure. He remembered their closeness with warmth. Usually he feels discomfort and sleeps poorly with such legs. But that night, he slept well in some incomprehensible hotel. This surprised him very much. He looked at his companion and asked him to find the girl he had come to the hotel with yesterday, without delay. He really wanted to see her. She was beautiful and he couldn't get her out of his head. After such an unforgettable night, he desperately wanted to meet the beautiful stranger again. The man wanted to see her at least once. He wanted to feel the warmth of her body more than once. Gupa arrived at the young lady's house. The father of the sweet girl was pleased that he had arrived because he could arrange a meeting with the man sooner. Mrs. Karen looked at the men with contempt and disgust. The Count saw her and could not take his eyes off her. He said that the rumors were true and she was truly beautiful. He came close to her and said that she was the sweetest of all in the world. He wanted to possess her very much. And as soon as possible, the Count said that the wedding would take place sooner than he thought. And in particular, he would try to do everything to ensure that the wedding took place as soon as possible. He wanted to possess her very much. The Viscount was over the moon. The Viscount said he would be very happy if the wedding took place tomorrow. Mrs. Karen decided to interrupt their truly sweet conversation and exchange of pleasantries, which irritated her to no end. She said that she had one small problem, which was in her stomach. Karina said that about 6 months ago, she had a relationship with a man in a tavern. The Count was shocked. He shouted furiously at the Viscount because he had hidden from him that the girl was pregnant. The Viscount said that he did not know that his daughter was pregnant. And he said that the child was not a hindrance because it had not yet been born. The Count grabbed the man in a rage and began to drag him to the door. The Viscount asked the Count to let him in as he did not know that the girl was pregnant. But the Count wanted to deal with him immediately and resolve the issue immediately. He did not understand how the man had the conscience to deceive him. After they left, Karen laughed wildly at the whole situation. She was delighted by the Count's reaction. And she was very pleased that her father would get what he deserved. The Viscount was furious that his daughter had deceived him. He slapped her across the face. He looked at his daughter and said with fury that she had won the battle, but he would win the war. The Viscount came closer and said that he would make her life painful and unbearable, that she herself would beg for death. The man was angry and said that he would sell her and her child. And then he ordered her to be locked up. And in addition, he told the servants not to give her a drop of water for a whole week. 3 years later, Karen was living the life of a servant. She did everything her father ordered her to do. The servant came and said that Karen was being called by the Viscount. The Viscount looked at her with all his contempt and was glad that she looked so pitiful. He thought it was better this way, because before she had been very arrogant. He asked her with a smirk if she wanted to answer something. But the young lady listened to him silently. The Viscount said that after 4 years, he found a man who would buy it, Archduke Buster. KN was looking for a marriage partner for himself. The Viscount said that there were rumors about the man that he was a murderer. But since it was for her, he was not particularly worried about her future life. Karen asked how much he had paid for her. The man listed the entire list of what the Archduke had given him in payment for his daughter. He was pleased, as it had been a very good deal by his standards. The Viscount approached his daughter and said that if she messed up again, he would sell her into a barrel along with her son. He added that she needed to behave decently if she wanted to be saved. And leave this place. Karina did not respond to her father's words. When leaving, the Viscount said that they would set off on their journey in a week. So she needed to pack all her things in advance. Karen walked into the room. Her son was very happy that she had come. Karen was very happy to see him. He gave her life meaning. Karina was surprised that her son was still awake. Nidhi said that he was waiting for her, and that's why he didn't go to bed. She hugged him like crazy and said that they would most likely leave this place soon. He was excited. Nidhi asked if he would go with her. Karina smiled tenderly and said that they would leave this house together. The boy was very happy and jumped into his mother's arms so much that he almost knocked her over. Threads wondered if everything was okay with Mom, as she looked puzzled. Karina said that everything was okay. She was just very happy. The girl hoped that she could get them out of this place. They were getting ready to leave. Karina really wanted to leave the house as soon as possible. She knew that she would be able to cope with everything and survive all the hardships if they left this unpleasant place. They arrived at the place. The servants greeted the guests with all respect and said that the Archduke would only let the lady and her son into the estate and everyone else would wait in the carriage. The servants did not take this news very joyfully, but they humbly agreed. Karen asked how long it would take to get to the estate. The servants of the estate said that it was about a 40-minute walk from the main gate to the estate itself. Nidhi said that he really wanted to walk. They walked slowly. The boy ran and was happy as he was able to see a lot of beauty that he had not seen before. Lady Karen was met by the butler. He greeted her kindly and said that his master was awaiting their arrival in the drawing room. She assessed all the splendor of the estate and noticed that the young master was rich beyond measure. But the young Archduke decided to personally go down and meet them. Karen saw the Archduke and realized that this was the same man who was with her that night. She was wildly surprised and did not understand how this could be. The girl was glad to see him, but at the same time she was frightened by his appearance. He didn't recognize her. She flew up to him and realized that something had been wrong with his eyes that night. But now he looked fine and the man himself looked healthy. The man introduced himself and said that she should not expect love from him in their marriage. He said that he did not want a big ceremony and instead they would just sign the marriage papers. Karen agreed with him. The Archduke said that they would sleep in separate buildings and she would have a whole separate house. He said in a calm voice that he asked her to live a modest and quiet life away from society. Karen agreed with everything. He looked at her and realized that she was not afraid of him, but to his regret he could not read her because the young lady did not show her emotions. The man said that she would be provided with a separate group of servants and maids. He also asked her to inform the coachman and butler in advance if she wanted to go somewhere. The girl said that everything suited her, but she would prefer to live in the house only with her son. The Archduke was puzzled and very surprised. She said that she agreed to all his conditions and asked him for only one thing. He agreed. The girl was very grateful to him. Bowing, she thanked him again. Karen said she would live according to his demands, covering herself with a fan so he couldn't see her face. She asked if she could go since he didn't need her. He let her go. The man watched her go. He thought she was acting like a stone. He thought for a second about the girl he had met 3 years ago. They were alike. The Archduke had not thought about the young stranger for a long time. At that time he had searched the entire country, but could not find her. He noticed that they had the same build. The man did not remember the girl being so thin. Karen called her son and said that it was time for them to go. The happy boy ran up to his mother. The Archduke was surprised. The boy had red eyes, just like the young gentleman. He knew that such eye color was very rare, and such a coincidence was very strange. The butler showed her the house and with surprise asked if she really didn't need servants. Karen thanked him for his concern and said that she could handle it herself. Oslo said that if she needed anything she could contact him. He also said that the knights would be on guard to protect her. Karen thanked him. The man left, leaving her alone with the child. Niti ran around the new house. The boy liked the new house very much. He was glad that they would live in such a place. He was glad that they had left their previous place of residence. He did not want to go back there anymore. He ran around the house and happily climbed up to the second floor. Karen shouted after him to watch his step and be careful. She was happy and hoped that in such conditions she would be able to raise him properly. The man asked the Archduke if he really wanted to let the girl live alone with her child in the house without servants. The Archduke said that she would come and ask for servants when she got tired of taking care of herself and her son. He didn't know what she wanted to prove, but he was sure that he could handle everything. The Archduke was sure that if the girl asked for too much, he would have an extra headache. The man looked at him and said that marriage is not a battlefield, but the Archduke was sure of the opposite. The man meekly agreed and left his company. The man wanted to live to see the day when the master's heart would melt and he would become kinder. Karen was reading a story to her son. She thought he had fallen asleep. She looked at him. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and started smiling. Karen asked him why he wasn't sleeping. Niti said he couldn't sleep in such a beautiful house. Karen looked at him, wondering if he was interested in who his father was. Niti was surprised because he didn't know he had a father. Karine asked him to keep the secret and she would tell him everything. The boy was surprised and asked why he should keep the secret. Karen said that when she met his father he was bewitched by a monster toad. She said that she read him a fairy tale about a prince, a princess, and a monster. The characters in the tale were her and his father. He was happy that his mother was telling the story. Karen said that his father is the man they met in the morning, the one with red eyes. Niti was upset and couldn't understand how his father couldn't recognize him. Karine said that his father hadn't yet gotten over the curse that the monster had placed on him, and that's why he doesn't remember his family. And if he does remember them, the monster will find him and take him away. Karen said that for this reason he must keep everything a secret, and when he grows up he will become a knight, and then he will be able to fight the monster, and when he defeats him his father will immediately remember them. Niti wanted to wake up his mother. The boy really wanted to go feed the fish that were in the yard. Karen didn't want to wake up. She wanted to rest a little more. He never woke her up and left without her. The little boy was very happy that he came to see the fish. He wanted to feed them. He looked at them and was surprised by their beauty and the fact that there were so many of them. He wanted to feed them so much that he accidentally dropped the bucket and the spatula. Unfortunately, it fell into the fountain with fish. He was very upset because his mother had bought this spatula for him at the market, and he didn't know what to do because he was afraid to climb in and pull it out of the water himself. But suddenly he remembered that he had a new friend who would definitely help him cope and get the shovel. He looked around, but he was nowhere to be found and decided to go and look for him somewhere else. The Archduke arrived at his estate. He and his butler began to discuss military matters. He, by the way, asked if anything important had happened while he had been away all this time. Suddenly, their conversation was interrupted by a little boy. The Archduke noticed him running and could not understand what had happened. The Archduke asked his companion what the young boy was doing on his estate alone without an escort. He did not know what to answer because he himself was confused. Niti was very upset because he couldn't find his new friend to help him. He stood there and cried furiously. He really wanted to get his shovel and he couldn't find help. The Archduke asked him what had happened. The boy was so frightened by his arrival that he almost fell. The man looked at him and froze in confusion. He inadvertently thought that he looked very scary because he was frightened. The little boy looked at him in tears and did not know what to call him because he knew that this man was his dad, but he could not address him like that. The young boy said that he was looking for his friend to help him. The butler said that Oslo was busy with errands outside, so they had to help him themselves and calm him down immediately. Niti began to cry even more because he thought that no one could help him. He was very worried about his spatula. The Archduke did not understand why the little boy was crying so violently, and he did not know what could have upset him so much. He picked him up and lifted him up like a kitten and asked him why he was crying so much. Niti said that his spatula had fallen into the water and he could not get it back. The Archduke said that he would help him and asked where the shovel was. Niti was very glad that he would help him get the shovel now. He said where it was and they went. Niti called the Archduke uncle, who hesitated since he was not used to hearing that. The Archduke carried the young boy in his arms. He was surprised at how light the young boy was. He asked him if he was eating well. Niti was shocked and did not know what to answer as he was afraid that he might be scolded. Niti knew that he would be scolded for eating too much. He remembered his grandfather saying that any scraps were a luxury for them. His grandfather claimed that food was a huge waste of money for them, so they made do with what they got. Niti said that he eats once a day. The Archduke was shocked. He asked how he could eat once a day. Niti was very scared of his reaction. He said that they eat once every 2 days. The Archduke was even more surprised and angry. The boy saw his reaction, said that they eat once every 3 days. The Archduke angrily asked what was going on and how they could eat like that. The man ordered his companion to call all the servants and promised to figure out what was going on as he wanted to restore order to his estate. The Archduke did not understand how a girl could raise a child alone without servants and do all the household chores. He did not understand how she could starve her son. The Archduke took the little boy's shovel out of the fountain. Niti was overjoyed that he had been helped. The Archduke said that if the boy ever got into trouble like that again, he could easily call him for help and he would definitely help him. Karen came running to their noise. She hugged her son and he ran to her joyfully and hugged her back. She was very worried about him as she had been looking for him for a long time. He said that his uncle had helped him and got his shovel. Karen was surprised by this turn of events. She looked in surprise at the men who were standing near the fountain. The Archduke was very displeased. The man looked at Karen and said that they hadn't seen each other for quite some time. He looked at her and noticed that she looked a little ill, but she remained as cold towards him. He looked at her and asked if it was true what he had heard that the little boy only ate once a day. Karen was very surprised by this question and said that it couldn't be. The man looked at her and said that he had personally heard this information from the little boy. The Archduke told the young lady that if she was having a hard time living without a maid, she should have told him about it right away instead of leaving the child hungry. Karen looked at him and said that there had been a misunderstanding and that everything was wrong. Karen approached her son and asked him if they ate 3 times a day and also said that she baked him cookies. She said that he should tell his uncle the truth. He looked at her with incomprehension and said that if he ate a lot, he would definitely be yelled at. The Archduke was surprised. Karen hesitated a little and told her son that their life was much better now and different from before. The Archduke did not understand what was happening and how this could be. The girl's words did not fit in his head. Karen looked at the man and said that her child was just a little confused and everything was fine with them. The man was furious. He didn't understand what had happened to them before and why they were behaving like that. So he said he would check everything personally. He intended to go to their house and see how they were living. Karina was shocked. She didn't understand why he needed to go somewhere himself and watch how they lived. She did not stop him and they went into the house. The Archduke did not walk but simply flew because he wanted to quickly sort everything out. He flew into the house at full speed. When they entered the kitchen, he saw food on the table. The man thought that the young lady was not lying to him since there really was food, but he was puzzled and he asked why there were so few ingredients in the food since there was little meat and vegetables. He asked her how she could cook the same way for a whole week. He was puzzled by the whole situation. He asked her if she knew how to cook and use other ingredients. The girl hesitated, not knowing what to answer. After thinking for a while, she said that next time she would buy other products. The Archduke looked at her and said that usually noble ladies do not know how to cook and there is nothing wrong with that. He intended to send her a servant so that they would live in comfort. The girl was against strangers in her new home. The Archduke told his subordinate that they would dine together today and he asked that food be prepared for 3. The girl was puzzled. She did not understand what was going on and why he was doing this. The Archduke and Karen were sitting on the terrace drinking tea. The man asked the girl if she would like to find a tutor for her son. The The girl looked at him and said that it was too early as he was still very young. The Archduke was sure that the boy needed to learn the basics of etiquette and language. Looking at her, he said that from now on they would eat together. The girl was puzzled by his persistence. He said that even his work would not interfere with him and he would make time to eat with them. Karen looked at him and asked if he himself hadn't told her to live quietly and not create unnecessary problems for him. She didn't understand why he so suddenly wanted her to change. The Archduke sipped his tea calmly. He said in a quiet voice that he had his reasons for this. Karen didn't like the whole situation very much. She didn't understand why she had to talk to him, let alone eat at the same table every day. The thought alone made it hard for her to breathe. The girl told her companion that if he wanted, he could only eat with her son. The man was furious at her words. He did not understand what she wanted to say. Karen looked away and said that they were still in a marriage of convenience, and if he needed her, she would obediently play the role of the Grand Duchess. She looked at him and said that he should not worry about her daily life. Since she does not want to be too noticeable, she also added that if a man tries for needy, he can freely spend time with him and build a trusting relationship, and she in turn will train him well so that he does not create any problems. The man was puzzled by her words. He wanted to continue the conversation, but the butler came and said that their dinner was ready. Karen said she didn't want to eat and asked if she could go to her room. The man was in a bad mood, so he said she was free to choose. Karen decided to go to her room. She was very tired and could not think of anything except a warm bed. She lay down on the bed and fell asleep in an instant. Needy was very happy with such delicious food. He praised the food very much and said that it was the first time in his life that he was eating such delicious food. From all the boy's emotions, it was easy for the Archduke to guess what he liked. The man asked the young boy how his mother cooked. The mischievous boy said that when his mother cooks, she is the most beautiful because she wakes up and walks only when she needs to cook food. The man was surprised by the boy's words and asked him if his mother usually lay in bed all day. The mischievous boy confirmed his words and said that if he himself did not tell his mother what he wanted to eat, she would not cook anything. The man thought that the girl might have a depressive disorder. Unfortunately, he had already met a person with such problems. It was a general who was captured by the enemy. He was a brave and strong man. But in the end, he committed suicide in a prisoner of war camp. Even today he could not forget this story. The Archduke's companion asked his master to be a little kinder to the Duchess. The Archduke promised that he would do his best as he was trying very hard. He asked his servant to give him time for noon tomorrow. The Archduke came to his wife and said that they would eat together. Karen was very surprised as she did not want to spend time with him. The girl wanted to be alone, but the man insisted that she sit with him. Karen got her son ready for school and told him to be sure to listen to the teacher. The boy happily said that he would definitely listen to him and also added that the teacher praised him every day. She looked at him and told him to study well, and then when he grows up, he will be able to teach her. The boy looked at his mother with a puzzled expression as she was a little pale. He said that she must eat very well. Suddenly, a male voice was heard behind them. The Archduke told the boy not to worry and to go to school calmly, and he would immediately look after and take care of his mother. Karina was shocked and did not understand what the man was doing near their estate, but the Archduke did not look at her. He asked the boy to be attentive in class. Nitai was in a hurry to get to class. He wanted to get started quickly and ran to the carriage in his joy. The man invited Karine to go with him to lunch. She meekly agreed, and when they were sitting at the table, she asked him why he was acting like that. She was puzzled by his behavior and did not want to attract too much attention to herself. He looked at her and said that no matter what they were still a family and should pay at least a little attention to each other. She was puzzled by this answer and said that she would not mind if he ignored her. The man was puzzled. He said that he was against it and asked her if she really considered him a very bad person. The girl did not answer his provocative question. She only added that he himself personally asked her to live a quiet life and not to create any problems for him. It meant nothing and that they should not live like strangers. She said that she would play the role of a wife perfectly in front of people, so he should not worry. He said that was not what he meant at all. Karine asked if he was afraid of her. The man didn't answer. She said that she would do everything necessary to play her role properly, so he shouldn't worry about anything. The girl decided not to continue the meaningless conversations and slowly walked away. The servant asked the man how their dinner had gone. The man was furious and said that their conversation had not gone well at all. There had been no eye contact, and it seemed to him that he was talking not to a woman but to a soulless doll. The servant suggested that the master should make some gift to his wife. The Archduke was angry. He did not want to do such stupid things because he considered it unacceptable on his part. The servant said that she was his wife after all. The man said that it was only on paper, so he saw no point in pretending and playing. The servant said he would not speak of it again. He was worried that his master might regret what he had said. The Archduke thought it was funny and he didn't understand what he could regret. Corinne was very worried about her son because it would be the first time he would sleep alone without her. The girl asked if he would cry. Needy assured her that he would be fine and that he was all grown up. Corinne admired her son. She remembered how the servant told her that the boy was already much smarter than his peers. The man suggested that she let Needy go to a special educational event. Many children from noble families participated in the annual event. Corinne was very proud of her son as he had grown a lot and became independent. The Archduke approached them. He wanted to see the boy off. Needy was very happy to see the man. In his joy, he ran to him to hug him. The Archduke wished the little boy a good journey. Needy was very happy. He thanked the man. And he ran to the carriage in a hurry. He said goodbye to everyone and left. Corinne was very grateful that the Archduke had come to see Needy off. She thanked him and asked if she could go now. Since she didn't want to take up his time, he grabbed her hand and asked if they could talk in private. The man said that the conversation would not take long. He looked at her and was surprised at how thin she was. He thought that she could break down at any time. Corinne asked the man to let her go because she felt uncomfortable. She was a little confused by the man's behavior. The Archduke apologized to the young lady for forcing her to dine with him. To his regret, he had not thought of her feelings. And that was rather selfish of him. Corinne said that everything was fine, so he had no need to apologize. The man said he didn't want to bother with marriage or having an heir, so he just wanted to find a partner he could work with. He said that was why he couldn't just leave the girl alone. Corinne hesitated. She didn't understand what kind of relationship he wanted to see between them. Then, the man didn't know what to say. He wasn't ready for such a question. He hesitated a bit, then said that they could be friends. He said it without even thinking about it. The girl was surprised. He looked down and said that she herself said that she did not want to have a close relationship. In his opinion, since they had to live the rest of their lives together, he wanted to dispel the awkward atmosphere between them. Corinne didn't know what she should do or how to behave because she had never had a friend before. She didn't know what the terms of friendship would be, but she knew it would be a lot of trouble. After thinking for a while, the girl accepted his offer of friendship. They shook hands as a sign of agreement and understanding. Corinne was fast asleep. Suddenly, she heard a rustling and strange noise. A man's voice from afar wished her good morning. The girl was shocked and confused. She could not understand what he was doing in her room in the morning. Her husband said that she was sleeping for a very long time. The Archduke said that it was already noon and he had become very hungry while waiting for her. Corinne was in shock and didn't understand why he was waiting for her. Her reaction made him laugh. He smiled and said that he wanted to have a meal with a friend he had recently made. The man said that Needy would be back soon, so she had better get ready. He asked if he needed to call the servants so that she could get ready more comfortably and quickly. Corinne said that she would get ready herself since she was already used to it. And there was no need to call anyone. The man sat and thought about her words. He thought her behavior was strange. Since most children of aristocrats live in abundance and almost never do such things on their own, they can't even wash or dress themselves. The man didn't understand how she could cope on her own, let alone manage the estate. The girl left the room wearing only a towel. The man was shocked. He thought she had gone crazy. Corinne calmly said that she needed to get dressed, so she asked him to turn away for a moment. The man was shocked and furious. He shouted that she was completely crazy because she decided to do such things in the presence of a man. Corinne said that she completely forgot that he was in the room. He was perplexed and wondered if the girl really did not hit anything. He stole a glance at her and saw that her back was covered in scars. The Archduke thought that she looked like an unfortunate tree battered by the wind. The man could not understand where they came from. He knew that such marks were left after long years of abuse. The Archduke remembered all the words and behavior of the girl and the boy. His puzzle came together. He realized that she had been repeatedly bullied and her will had been broken. He saw that she had completely lost hope. The man walked down the corridor. He noticed that the girl was dressed in the same clothes as yesterday. The man told his companion that she could call him by his first name. After all, friends usually call each other by their first names. Corinne said that she didn't fully understand why he wanted to be friends with her. The man looked at her and asked with a grin if she wanted to be lovers. The man asked if they should act like regular spouses. Karen was scared and didn't understand what he was talking about. She asked if she had somehow neglected her duties as his wife. The girl thought he wanted to return her to her father. She begged him fervently to tell her what she had done wrong. He said that she was innocent and had done nothing. Karen was confused. She did not understand the reason for such strange behavior on the part of the man. Buster said he was very lonely. Karen decided to touch his forehead. He did not understand what the girl was doing. Karen said that everything was fine and he did not have a fever. But she could not understand why his face was red then. Karen asked him how he was feeling. Buster hesitated and said he wasn't feeling well. Buster thought he had a lot to learn before he could start socializing. Buster looked at the young lady and suggested that they live together in the mansion. He said that he wanted them to move in with him by the end of the month. He also said that if she was not comfortable, he would reduce the number of servants in the mansions. This was very unexpected for the girl. She asked him if he even understood what he was talking about. Buster told her not to be so surprised, because he should have done it earlier. But unfortunately, he was too late. He wanted the girl to live like a real duchess. Buster was pleased that the girl knew the internal management of the estate, as it would be useful to her in the future. Karen screamed furiously that she couldn't move, and she said that if she had done something wrong, she would fix it. She begged him. Buster reproached himself for not thinking about her feelings and emotions. He honestly did not understand what kind of monster could break such a gorgeous young lady from high society. He grabbed her hand and said that she was a grand duchess from high society, and no one had the right to even raise their head and look into her eyes, since the girl was the only grand duchess in the entire state. Therefore, she was his wife. Buster promised her that he would never forgive anyone who tried to harm her in any way. He said that her father, too, would never dare harm her again. Buster looked at her and said that she was free to live as she wished, and it would be all right if she wanted luxury or caused trouble. He said that for now it was not about. She can do whatever she wants when she kills. Karen laughed wildly.